Hey y'all, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing this makeup look that I have on here, and this was actually supposed to be a Valentine's Day look. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you know what happened. I filmed this video Monday, I believe, and Monday or Tuesday, I don't know which, I can't remember. But anyway, I've mentioned this before. My camera quit recording. It actually quit recording 12 times. And I was so disappointed because I've mentioned before that while that's not the biggest deal in the world because I can always edit it and like join the video pieces together, the editor that I use, if the video's over like 15 minutes long, it drastically reduces the quality and makes it blurry, and that's the last thing you want for a makeup tutorial. So I posted on my Instagram and said, hey, I took a picture of it and I said, hey, well, here's the deal, you know, it messed up, do y'all want to see a tutorial? And a couple of people said they did, and I was supposed to film it yesterday, but I had some other stuff going on, and so I was like, well, you know what, it's just gonna be a pink and red makeup look. And to be honest, because today is Valentine's Day, I'm filming it on Valentine's Day. But to be honest, I mean, Valentine's Day is during the week this year. So a lot of us are probably waiting to celebrate it until the weekend anyway. So we're left with this here. So like I said, this is a pink and red Valentine's Day look, and I will just show you what we've got here. And I was going to, yes, that's her Valentine's Day card. Go watch Ladybug. Yes, I know. Ta-da! I was going to film this in real time. I was debating on that, and you know, not do the shortcut where I do one. Bye. Where I do the one eye. You know, I want to do my face makeup and everything. But when I filmed it, it came out at 36 minutes once I got all the pieces, you know, like connected together. And yes, that was because the camera kept stopping a lot. That took up a lot of time. And also there are parts that I don't do on camera, like my mascara and my eyeliner and stuff like that. And so that would get cut it out. It's not a naturally extra video if I don't mess up at least one word. Anyway, I just thought it was going to run too long. If you would like to see a full face tutorial, then let me know because I will gladly do that. But for this, I thought let's just try to keep this as simple as possible. I did get a new camera app, and I'm really excited about this one because this one has a pause button. So the good thing about that is that I don't have to actually stop recording and then join stuff together. So if something does come up, the baby is taking her nap right now, so woohoo. But anyway, if something comes up, then I can pause it. So now that I've done the longest intro possible, sorry y'all, I talk a lot, I know. What I did is I decided that I wanted to do something pink and red. So basically I went in my makeup case and I pulled out every single pink and red shadow that I own. Now I did not end up using that many, but I found a lot of really good ones. And the thing is that a lot of these are older. So while you probably don't have this exact product, you will more than likely find a dupe for it. And in fact, this really bright pink that we're losing on camera a little bit. I can see it in my mirror here. It looks good, but on camera, it's not quite as vibrant. It's about the color of my lips, honestly. I have two other shades that are almost the exact same. So you will definitely be able to find some colors. So anyway, I've done what I always do. I have primed my eye. I have tight lined with black liner. I put a blending shade on, and then I applied a heavy bake because, as most of y'all know, normally I would not have any makeup on my face. I do my eyes first, but for the sake of the video. And so now we're going to go on with our first shade. We're going to do our transition. And I'm going to be using the brush I most frequently use for that, and that is this Crown Deluxe Pointed Crease. It is C412, I believe. Yes, C412. And the shade, this is really old, y'all, is this Mary Kay. Let me cover the mirror so I don't blind you right here. This is called Whisper Pink. It is a matte petal pink. And honestly, if I had a little bit darker shade, that is what I really would prefer for this. But this is the best that I could, with everything that I had, this is what I felt worked the most. And I love Mary Kay shadows, by the way. They have a wonderful, wonderful, like their texture. They're easy to blend, you know. So I've applied it to one side, and I'm going to flip it over. And I'm just going to apply this basically on, like, you know, your high crease where you always put your transition shade. And I'm going to do another layer, just like so. And I hope y'all have a happy Valentine's Day. I, of course, have been married for almost 9 years and with my husband for 12. So, of course, we're not doing anything. Okay, now on to our next color. Now, I have mentioned this before quite frequently about how you really should only put matte shades in the crease, but there are occasions where it is okay to do a shimmer. Now, the color that I'm using for the main crease color here is a red, because I said I wanted red and pink. Unfortunately, it is a shimmer. So a lot of times when you're using a shimmer, you can buff away some of that, but then unfortunately you end up losing a little bit of the color. Being that I wore this look to church on Sunday, and then I did the look the other day, I've experimented with this a little bit more, and so I found that the best thing to do to keep too much of the color from buffing away, but to kind of anchor that shimmer, is to use this matte pink shadow. And this is by L'Oreal Hip. This is one of the bright shadow duos, and this is Brazen. Yes, and it is a, if I can get it open, it is basically a matte dark hot pink. And I am taking my Luxie 205 tapered blending brush, and I'm going to apply it to one side of my brush and tap off my excess and then flip it over. And I'm just going to apply this right in my crease, and I want it fairly even on either side. You know how a lot of times I talk about you want to do kind of concentrate the color on the outer corner. For this, we're just going to be doing evenly all over the lid. And I'm just going to use the traditional windshield wiper motion to blend this in. And that's that. Now we're going to go on to the crease color. Now this is the color that I was talking about. It is beautiful. It is, however, a shimmer. This is by Nomad. This is Marrakesh Spice Market. And it is essentially a brick red that is shimmery. It is beautiful, but it is very shimmery. And I am taking my Royal & Langnickel crease and smudge brush. We're going to use the crease end. Going to apply this to one side of the brush, flip it over, make sure you tap off the excess. There we go. Okay, and then flip it over. And I'm going to kind of pat a little bit of the color on the outer corner here, and then I'm just going to start blending it. Like so. And then I'm going to clean my brush off, and I'm going to take it and blend just this outer edge here so that we can get some of that existing pink peeking through. And it's not going to really show and like be very obvious, but it will help give you that kind of gradient if you are a fan of those very blended but still distinct lines of color. It's going to kind of give that effect. Okay, now we're going to do define the crease a bit more. And I'm going to use, for this, I'm going to use my Luxie 231 small tapered blending. Honestly, I feel like I should use a teeny bit smaller brush for this, but everything that I have that is smaller than this is too small, and I have to work with it too much. So if you do not have this brush and you have one that is just a teeny bit smaller, it will be perfect for this. And I'm going to use, this is something else that's, this is a Profusion palette. And this is back from when they did not name their palettes. They were not, YouTubers were, I mean, Tati uses Profusion now. There's a lot of YouTubers that use them now. My mother-in-law got this for me a couple years ago in my stocking. And she probably got it from Dollar Tree, because Dollar Tree used to sell a lot of their stuff, especially the one where I live. And this is a wonderful little palette. I'm amazed that I like these shimmers, like an all shimmer palette, because I started wearing makeup in the 90s. So we had frosted everything. And you know, when trends come around again, you're kind of like, I've already done that once before. I don't know if I want to do it again. So that's why I'm weird about shimmer. But I do love this palette, and it's incredibly pigmented and goes on wonderfully. And so we're going to take this color right here, this kind of purple red, and using that brush, we're going to yet again apply it to one side of the brush, tap off the excess. These do have a decent amount of fallout. flip it over, and then I'm going to push the color right here onto the outer corner, and then I'm going to start pulling like this into the inner, and then I'm just going to blend. And for those of y'all that have maybe wondered, I don't think I've ever explained this, why you actually apply the shadow to one side of the brush and then flip it over. That's actually to keep the transfer onto the lid as minimal as possible. It's a very handy trick. And I'm just now blending out that edge a little, like so. Okay, oh, that hair. Okay, now we're gonna leave this alone for now, and we're gonna go on to the lid. Now, we are using red shadow today, so this is going to really stain our lids, and we are going to carve this out. This is really a cut crease, but we're not being super defined here. And mainly one of the reasons why we're gonna do this to carve it out is because we want the pink to be super opaque and super bright. And so this is just a good way to ensure that that happens. I mean, look at all of that. Okay, now we're going to carve the lid out, and you can use whatever you want, but I'm going to use my NYX Jumbo Pencil and Milk, the world's smallest NYX Jumbo Pencil and Milk. And I'm going to use a concealer brush, and the reason why I'm using this is because the white makes the color show up even more. And if you're going to wear hot pink eyeshadow, you might as well make it extra obnoxious. And so I'm just loading a bunch up here on my brush. And then I'm going to just carve my lid out. And you don't necessarily have to make sure that it is absolutely perfect and straight. But really, because we will cover up, we're going to deepen it with some black after we're done with the lid. But you do want it nice and opaque to make that pink really come through. And I love doing tutorials like this, or, you know, where I show you how to do these really bright colors, because in a lot of my videos, especially when I'm doing like eyeshadow videos, I typically do very, like I've said before, very subdued things, but this is honestly how I wear my makeup the most, is these very bright colors and bright lips. And I know that that's not for everyone, and if you don't want to do it that way, you definitely don't have to, you know, but this is just my kind of thing. And I've got a chunk there, and I'm going to quit messing with it because I'm going to make it worse. And I'm going to cover it up anyway, so it's okay. Okay, now we're going to go on to the hot pink. And for that hot pink, I'm going to be using my Luxie 239 Precision Shader. This is the one I use probably most frequently in my videos. And we're going to be using a L'Oreal Hip Pigment, and this is in Fiery. Hold on, and it is a hot pink with a little bit of a blue base. It is quite shimmery. You can see here. And we are going to be using it wet, but remember, anytime that I do a wet shadow, I always like to do a dry base first. And we are going to do a color on the inner corner, so we're going to start about a third of the way in here, or out, I guess, and just pack this color on like so. Taking care as much as possible not to disturb that crease line that we have, but we will definitely be covering that up. This is, whenever I do the shadow on camera, I always feel like it's so much messier because I cannot like get up and close to it to really see what I'm doing, and it just drives me crazy. So if this eye ever looks a little more of a hot mess, I'm sorry. I really am. It's just because I can't see as well. Okay, now we're going to wet it, and I am using something that I have been experimenting with. It is a setting spray, and if you would like to see a recipe for this, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I've only made it once. Well, no, I just remade it again, and I think I like it. But typically what I do before I share a recipe with y'all, I make it a couple of times to make sure that I've worked out all the kinks, that it really works very well for me. So a lot of times when y'all ask to see something like caress in your facial oil, I I'm sorry, but I make it several times just to make sure that I am completely confident with putting it out there and telling people, hey, this is how to make this and this is what to do with this, you know. So be patient. I promise I will get those recipes out if y'all have made requests. But like I said, I do try to completely troubleshoot something before I share it. Okay, now that we've got that hot pink on, we're going to do the inner corner now. Now, you could definitely use the same exact brush for this. But I've got this little Moda shader brush here. And we're going to use this sort of cotton candy kind of colored shade off of this Profusion palette. And you'll notice that these pans are rectangle. And they're a little difficult to get your brush in there to really pack the color on. But this brush, you can see here, is very long. And so it fits perfectly into these pans. It also, especially for a brush that has longer bristles, it picks up color really, really well. And now we're going just to apply this to the inner corner here. And these colors are similar enough that we're not going to have to do a lot of blending between the two. Okay, and now that we got a good layer there, I'm going to wet my brush. I think my baby's awake, so we might have to utilize that pause button. Okay. And so I'm just going to pack that on like this. And then I'm going to wipe my brush off. And I'm just going to kind of go over that edge there. My eyes, look at all the black under there. My eyes are watering so bad. I live in Northeast Florida, and the pine pollen right now is just insane. I mean, my car is green from all the pollen. It's awful. And my son, I've been having to give him medicine to go to school, and it's picture day today. He's like, I want to stay home. I'm like, no. No retakes on pictures. Okay, now we're going to just deepen this up and darken it just a little bit and define the little like outer V here. And we're going to use a black shadow, and you can use whatever black shadow you want, but this Profusion palette has a good a black here. And I'm going to be using this very tiny brush. This is an e.l.f. defining eye brush. I always forget to hold my hand up there. I'm sorry. And I'm going to pack the color on the top. So I'm going to go into the pan like this, making sure to tap it off very well. Now, unless you have very, very large and wide eyes this way, because we already have an inner portion here, to me, the star of this look is this hot pink shadow. So we don't want to lose too much of it, but at the same time, we do want to define our eye more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do right here on this outer portion, and I'm just going to take my brush and go up like this. Now we're going to leave that for now because we will blend it. I'm going to get some more shadow, same way, stick the brush straight into the pan, and then we're basically just going to draw a line over where we got a little bit of transfer. And one of the reasons why that happens to me is because I definitely do not have hooded eyes, but they are verging into hooded, especially because of the way my eye is shaped. It is so round this way. So I get a lot of transfer, and this is just something that I have found that works really well to keep too much lid color from coming into the crease. And I've cleaned my brush off, and now I'm just going to lightly blend and kind of pull this up. And then I'm going to wipe that off and put that away. And then I'm going to use my a clean blending brush. This is the L34 Blend Beauty by Shining Glam. This is the one I use the most. And I'm going to buff the outer edges of that, so it enhances that gradient that we have going on, but it doesn't disturb anything else. And let me see here. I went down too far with my black, so I'm going to add in a bit more pink quickly. Where'd my brush go? Who needs brushes? Right now, I'll just use this little one. And I'm just going to, because I did lose some of the pink. And you can always, don't think that once you've like finished one part of the eye, you can't go back to it and add in. There's no reason why you have to like be done with one spot and then leave it alone. You can always go back. In fact, we're going to go back to the transition shade once in just a second. Okay, so now that we have all of this done, we're going to go on to the brow, and we're going to carve the brow really quick. And I'm using the same thing I always use. It's the Wet n Wild dual-ended contour stick. This is in light medium. using the light side, obviously. But I'm just going to carve it out just like this. I love this. I've mentioned this before. I probably mentioned this every video. I love this thing though, because more often than not, when I buy those little contour sets like that, like I love the NYX Wonder Stick one, but the highlight side is basically just a plain old concealer for me, like a skin tone concealer. So I love that this is so pigmented and so light. Okay, so I've just blended that in with a little concealer brush. I'll get her in a minute, baby. Sorry. Okay, now we're going to do our brow bone color. And for that, it doesn't matter what color you use. I'm going to use Divinity from my Chocolate Bonbon palette. By the way, Totally Fetch, if you have this palette, Totally Fetch is incredibly similar to that Fiery that we used by Hip. And I'm going to pack the color into the arch here, and then I'm just going to blend. And then I'm going to clean my brush off, and I'm going to blend right over where that transition shade was, but we've pretty much lost the transition shade. So I'm going to get my brush that I used for my transition shade, and I'm going to get the color, the Whisper Pink, and I'm just going to go over it very carefully, just so that we get that pink coming back in. And it's not so stark white on the, like the lid and up area, because I have a very large crease to brow bone ratio, and so I don't like it to look like super stark white. I like to kind of fade into stuff, and so I feel like when you add that transition shade back over it, that does help it a little bit. Okay, now I'm just really quickly going to pencil this in really quick, and I'm not going to talk because I always mess it up when I do. I feel like I should be like humming or something while I do this. Mama, what? Okay. Okay, you watch her for a little bit. I love it. I love it. I love 5-year-olds. She just turned 5 last week. That's why I did not do a video last week, because we had her birthday party and all that good stuff. Okay, now I'm going to remove my bake with my sponge that is complete. I'll just use this. My sponge is missing. That means little Miss Charlotte probably had something to do with it. And then I'm going to brush the excess away. And I have all of this under here because my eyes are watering so bad. So I'm just going to wet my Q-tip, and I'm going to clean up as much of this as I can without disturbing too much of the makeup. It's awful. It's causing, I mean, this pollen is crazy. And it's still February. And really in Florida, especially where I live in Florida, it's not quite spring yet typically. Normally we really don't start getting these really warm days until March. And it's Valentine's Day, and today it's going to be 70 degrees. And 2 days ago it was over 80. So I'm not okay with this. My husband's all excited because he gets to start the garden. I'm like, no. I like it cool where I don't have to run my air conditioner. Okay, now we're going to line underneath the eye here, and I am using this NYX Faux Blacks pencil in Obsidian. It's like a purple black kind of color, and we're just gonna, just line under the eye here. And this is basically just to help deepen the color that we're going to put under there, and to help it stick a little bit better. And then I'm going to take that Royal and Langnickel Crease and Smudge Duo again, and we're going to take the smudge side, and I'm just going to smudge this out some. You could use a Q-tip for this as well if you wanted to. And I like to pull it to meet here. All right, now we're going to make eyeliner basically with this Fiery shadow. And when I do my under eye, I know I just said that I do a layer of dry and then a layer of wet when I use the shadow wet. But when I do it as liner, I like to have the brush incredibly wet so it almost makes like a paint. I feel that just works better and it sticks better, and you have less chance of ending up with a lot of fallout down on the bottom. And for those of us that are no longer 20-somethings anymore, we don't need any help with those lines. So I've applied it to one side of my brush. I'm now flipping that over, and I'm going to kind of pack this in like so, and then just kind of blend it. Okay, and now I'm going to take this little, put this away. I'm going to take this little Lottie London brush. It's just this little tiny shadow brush, and I'm going to take that purpley red color right here, and I'm going to do this to one side of the brush, and then of course flip it over, and I'm just going to smoke this out some. Just like this. You don't have to do it a lot. Basically, I'm just trying to keep it from going too pink and then making my eyes look too, you know, like they're red. Okay, now I am going to finish up my eyes real quick, and then I will be right back and we will chit chat about this. So, pause. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and finished it up, but I completely forgot about the inner corner, so we'll go ahead and do that really quick. But basically what I did is I just applied a thinner wing. I did mascara, and then I put some lashes on. And honestly, I would recommend doing a little bit like of a thinner line of your eyeliner. That way you're not losing too much of your hot pink and all the work that we did on the lid. And so it's really quick to finish off the look to do the inner corner. I'm taking this Model & Co. I've used this several times in my videos, this highlighting trio, and we're going to take the shade Champagne. And I'm using my my Crown, excuse me, not Royal Inlay Nickel, my Crown Shadow Crease Duet. We're going to use the crease side. And I'm just going to apply this right here to my inner corner. And then I'm going to clean the brush off, and I'm just going to blend it in just a bit. Oh, I'm shaking my mirror here. And make this meet the inner corner color there. Then once I've done that, I'm just going to take that little Profusion palette again. And I'm going to take this pink here. For those of y'all that don't have this palette, which you probably don't, you know, but it's a basically like a pink champagne kind of color. And I'm going to pack the color on the same brush. And I'm just going to apply this to the inner corner. And then I'm going to clean the brush off and just blend it just a little bit. Can't decide if I like these eyelashes. I don't know. They have a clear band, and I hate clear band eyelashes because I feel like they're really hard to work with. For me, anyway, because I wear so much eyeliner, mascara, and stuff. I'm going to take that shadow side again quickly, and I'm going to dip it back into that pink, the pink champagne kind of color, and just very minimally apply this to my brow bone. And that's it. So I thank y'all so much for taking the time to watch this. If you like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see actual Plano tutorials from me and not just, you know, like 101 style videos, go ahead and let me know, because I would like to start doing them. If you have any particular request, go ahead and let me know as well, because I always want to, obviously I want to engage with y'all, so I want to be able to do something that y'all would actually like to see. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, go ahead and do that, please. I think I'm up to like 81, and I want to try to get to 100 by, excuse me, I have heartburn. I want to try to get to 100 by Easter. I have no idea if that will happen, but I feel like when I set a goal for myself, I do a little bit better with making sure that I'm doing all the things that I need to do on my end for my channel. So if you hadn't hit that subscribe button already, please go ahead and do that. And like I said, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.